2 years ago, I went to a master percussion class at Lawrence University, where I got to sit in and watch college level kids get taught percussion and different types of percussion rhythms by a world-class percussionist named Michael Spiro. Now, they were playing these interesting looking drums. They were kind of double-sided, tapered in skinhead drums, and I'd never seen them before, but they sounded really cool. And so we did a little bit of, me and my dad did a little bit of research on them, called bata drums. They're from Africa, Southern Africa. They're from Cuba. They really moved around a lot, and we're like, well, what if we got to thinking, we're like, what if we built them out of wood? And well, we have lots of wood that we pick up from here. We pick up from the many different places, and eventually we started drawing up the math it would take to build them, cut them out, and so eventually we got the designs for them, and we built a prototype out of all wood, no skins whatsoever, and it had a totally different sound to it. But I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. So now but for a while I didn't know how to make them. So when this Genius Hour project came along in world history, it was a perfect opportunity for me to learn how to build something, or how to do something I didn't know how to do. So I knew right away what I wanted to do. So there's a few things we had to do to get this done. I chose this activity because I like playing drums and I like building things. That's what I love to do. I had some freedom in choosing what I wanted to do for my Genius Hour project, and so I'm like, well, I'll choose something I really like to do, and I really like to play drums and play and learn new things about drums. And so I chose bata drum since I didn't know how to build it. Something interesting about this is I learned some new things about the history of the bata drum and how it wasn't just a South African drum. It was used as slave drums in Cuba, and they really moved around a lot. And this really interests me since I love history, and I love percussion. So I faced a few different challenges that I faced along the way, though, were that we didn't use store-bought wood. We used wood that we found on like curbside. So we took an old dresser, and we had a big piece of 1940s maple that we cut the staves out of. Now, so this wood is from the 40s, so this wood is not going to be perfect. We did have to do a lot of work to make it finally able to cut and sand and glue up. So that was one of the trickier things. Eventually we got it to able to being cut and glued. We basically just deal with these obstacles by kind of just like finding out a better way to do it. So if the wood was too thick, then we're like, well, we could leave it as it is, or we could plane it. I think we did end up actually leaving it as regular thickness after it came out of the dresser. So we didn't actually end up having to plane the wood any thinner, which was nice. I finally, it felt really good when we finally got the drum shell glued up. It felt pretty nice to get that finally glued up, and then from that point, after we finished gluing it up, it was pretty much just finishing gluing up the heads on both sides. Now the heads. Eventually, after some weeks, I eventually did achieve my goal of building a bata drum and learning a little bit more about it.